In a crevice on a warm, shallow reef, something is watching from the shadows. It's small, no longer than your finger, and almost absurdly beautiful. Armored in overlapping plates of emerald, orange, and electric blue, like a living jewel that someone assembled from spare parts. Two eyes on stalks swivel independently, tracking everything at once. It looks like a decoration. It looks harmless. It is one of the most astonishing predators in the entire ocean, and pound for pound, it may throw the most violent strike of any animal on the planet. When it attacks, it moves faster than you can perceive. A limb snaps forward so quickly that the water itself can't get out of the way, and for a fraction of a second in the gap left behind, the ocean briefly flashes with heat and light. Its prey, crabs, snails, creatures armored in shells built to survive anything, are simply shattered. This is the mantis shrimp. It is small, dazzling, and one of the most extreme animals alive, from the punch it throws to the eyes it sees the world through, which may be the strangest eyes on Earth. This is wild Codex. Let's meet the jewel that hits like a bullet. Start with the strike, because it's the thing that made this creature famous, and the physics are almost hard to believe. There are two broad types of mantis shrimp, and they're often split by how they hunt. Some, the spearers, have barbed limbs they use to stab soft prey like fish. But the ones that made this animal legendary are the smashers, and they carry something extraordinary. A pair of club-like appendages, folded under the body like the arms of a praying mantis, which is where the name comes from. When a smasher strikes, those clubs unleash one of the fastest movements in the animal kingdom. The limb accelerates through the water at speeds compared to a bullet fired from a gun, reaching its target in about 0.003 of a second, far too fast for a human eye or the prey to react. The animal does this using a mechanism like a loaded spring. It doesn't power the punch with muscle alone. Muscle isn't fast enough. Instead, it slowly compresses a spring-like structure in its arm, locks it in place with a natural latch, and then releases the latch, letting all that stored energy explode outward at once. It's the same principle as a crossbow: load slowly, release instantly. Biologists call these power-amplified movements, and the mantis shrimp is the master of them. But the punch itself is only half the violence, and the second half is genuinely surreal. Here's the part that sounds made up, and isn't. The mantis shrimp strike is so fast that it does something to the water called cavitation. When the club moves that quickly, it pulls the water apart behind it, creating tiny bubbles in near vacuum. And when those bubbles collapse an instant later, they release a burst of energy, a snap of force, heat, and even a faint flash of light. Read that again. This animal punches so hard that it briefly boils the water around its fist and produces a shockwave. What that means for its prey is brutal and beautiful engineering. The mantis shrimp effectively hits its target twice with a single strike. Once with the club itself, and again a heartbeat later with the collapsing cavitation bubble. Even if a prey animal somehow survived the first blow, the shockwave follows. This is how a creature the size of your finger routinely destroys crabs and cracks open snail shells that are built, specifically, to be uncrackable. It doesn't pick the lock, it detonates the door. And the force involved is staggering for the animal's size. The strike delivers an acceleration so extreme that scientists studying it have to use high-speed cameras running at thousands of frames per second just to see it happen at all. In our world of slow muscle-powered movement, the mantis shrimp is operating on a completely different timescale, which raises an obvious question. How does an arm survive doing that over and over without destroying itself? That question leads to one of the most important secrets this animal holds, and it's why material scientists are obsessed with it. Think about it. Every time a smasher throws that punch, its own club absorbs an enormous, repeated shock. By all rights, it should shatter its own weapon within a few strikes. It doesn't. A mantis shrimp can strike thousands of times between molts without its club breaking. The reason is the internal structure of the club itself, which is built from layers arranged in a specialized, spiraling, staggered pattern. This architecture does something clever. When a crack tries to form, the layered, twisting structure stops it from spreading, redirecting and dissipating the energy, so no single fracture can race through the material. It's a natural design for absorbing catastrophic, repeated impact without failing. And this is where a 4-inch reef animal reaches into human technology. Researchers studying the mantis shrimp's club structure are using it as a blueprint for tougher, more impact-resistant materials, the kind of thing that could inform better body armor, more durable aircraft and vehicle panels, and advanced protective gear. An animal that solved the problem of surviving its own violence millions of years ago is quietly teaching engineers how to build things that don't break. That's the recurring theme of this channel. The strangest creatures are often the ones holding the answers we're still trying to find. And then there are the eyes, because we can't talk about this animal without them. They might be the most complex visual system on the planet. Human eyes have 3 types of color receptor. That's how we see the whole rainbow. The mantis shrimp has, in some species, around 16 types of photoreceptor. 16. They can detect kinds of light we can't even imagine, including ultraviolet, and they can see polarized light, the orientation of light waves, which is essentially invisible to us. For a long time, scientists assumed this meant the mantis shrimp saw a world of unimaginably rich color, far beyond our own. But the honest and stranger truth is more surprising. Research suggests the mantis shrimp may not actually distinguish subtle color differences better than we do. Instead of comparing colors the way our brains do, it appears to recognize them more directly, each receptor reporting its own signal, allowing very fast color recognition without heavy brain processing. In other words, it may not see a richer rainbow. It may see color in a completely different way than any animal we know, trading depth for speed. And that's arguably more fascinating, because it means this creature isn't just seeing more than us. It's seeing differently than us, in a way we're still working to understand. If this one amazed you, the next episode covers another small animal running biology that seems impossible. The creature that appears to have switched off aging itself. That video's on your screen right now, and the full series is linked in the description below. Subscribe to Wild Codex for new wildlife deep dives every week. And tell me in the comments, if you could have one of the mantis shrimp's gifts, the unbreakable punch or the alien eyes, which would you choose? I read every answer. See you in the next one.